Okay, what all things we have learned in the last class? Lakshmi, can you tell me?
J.J. Thomson's model,
Yeah.
Rutherford atomic number and mass number.
Okay. J.J. Thomson's model, Rutherford's atomic model, then atomic number and mass number, right? Devi Krishna, can you define this atomic number?
The sum of number of protons present in the nucleus of the atom.
Okay. Rose, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you tell me the relation between the number of electrons and atomic number?
Atomic number is the number of protons present in the nucleus.
Is it sum?
Number of
Once again.
atomic number is the number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom.
That means not the
Number of
addition one. Atomic number that is equal to number of electrons and also equal to the number of protons. Okay, clear, Rose?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then what about mass number, Alanzina? Can you tell me?
It's the number of protons plus number of neutrons.
Okay, number of protons plus number of neutrons. So how can we determine the number of neutrons with atomic number and mass number, Nimida?
Mass number minus atomic number.
Very good. Then who proposed this plum pudding model? Alina Varghese, can you tell me? Plum pudding model.
Thomson. J.J.
No.
Thomson.
Yes, J.J. Thomson. Okay. Then Tom, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Who proposed this nuclear model of atom?
Rutherford.
Who?
Rutherford.
Okay, Rutherford. Then today we are going to learn about isotopes and isobars. Okay, isotopes and isobars. Write down the heading isotopes. I think I just mentioned this isotopes in the last class, right? Atoms of the same element with same atomic number and different mass number are called isotopes. Okay. Isotopes are the atoms of same element have same atomic number but have different mass number. And they have same chemical properties as they have the same electron and proton number. Clear? Isotopes are the atoms of same element with same atomic number but different mass number. So their chemical properties are also same because the number of protons and number of electrons remain same. That's why. Only need to write this much portion, okay? Then we can discuss the examples. Isotopes are the atoms of same element have same atomic number but have different mass number. Finished? Yes, right? All of you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, write it fast. Finish, children?
Yes.
Okay, then we can discuss the examples. In the case of hydrogen, hydrogen atom, there are 3 isotopes. One H1, it is known as protium. Okay, protium. This one stands for atomic number and this one for mass number. Okay. Protium. Then second one, it is 1H2. It is known as deuterium. Deuterium. And the third one, that is tritium. Tritium. These 3 are the isotopes of hydrogen. Atomic number is 1, but the mass number are different, right? For protium, it is 1. Then deuterium, it is 2. For tritium, it is 3. So these 3 are the isotopes of hydrogen. Finished? I think now you can able to define isobars because it's just opposite to that of isotopes. Anyone please define?
Same mass
Yes.
number,
Yes. Tell me, Aditya.
same mass number and different atomic number.
Very good. Atoms, different elements with different atomic number, but same mass number. Okay. They are called isobars. Write down. Isobars are the atoms of different elements with same mass number but have different atomic number. They have different chemical properties because the number of protons and electrons are different, right? So they have different chemical properties. So isobars are atoms of different elements, okay, with same mass number and different atomic number. They have different chemical properties because the number of protons and number of electrons are different in the case of isobars. Only need to write this much, okay? The name was given by Alfred Walter Stewart in 1918. It is originally taken from the combination of Greek words iso. Isos means equal and bar means weight. So these are certain examples. Argon, it is 1840, then potassium, it is 1940, calcium, it is 2040. When you look at the atomic numbers, they are different, but looking at the mass number, they are same. They remain same. So these are the examples of isobar. And the next example, sodium and magnesium. Their atomic numbers are different, but their mass number remains same. It is 24. Only need to write these 2 examples, okay? So the isobars are the atoms of different element with different atomic number and same mass number. Their chemical properties are different because the change in number of protons and number of electrons.
Ma'am, should we write the second paragraph?
No need to write, only first one, that's enough. Shabarinath, can you please read the slide? Only first paragraph and examples.
Isobars. Isobars are the atoms of different elements with same mass number but have different atomic numbers.
Yes.
They have different chemical properties as they have different electron and proton number.
Okay.
Examples. Examples: argon, atomic number 18, mass number 40.
Okay.
Potassium, atomic number 19 and mass number 40.
Okay.
Calcium, atomic number 20 and mass number 40.
Okay, there is a small correction here. When you write the atomic number here, mass number should be right here. Okay, this one is mistaken. No need to write here. It's in the left side itself. So it is K 1940. Next one, calcium 2040. Is this clear, children? All of you completed, right? Okay, then we had discussed about this Rutherford's atom model in the last class, right? Based upon the gold foil experiment. Then there are certain drawbacks for this Rutherford's atom model, Rutherford's nuclear model of an atom. So we can just point out the drawbacks of Rutherford's atomic model. Okay, Rutherford's atomic model. First one, could not explain the stability of an atom. It could not explain the stability of an atom. He simply described that there is one positive center called nucleus, then the electrons are revolving around this nucleus in certain orbits. But he did not explain the stability of an atom. So that's the first point, first main drawback of Rutherford's atomic model. Then this Rutherford model could not explain the electronic structure of the atom. Rutherford model could not explain the electronic structure of an atom. He just mentioned about certain orbits. They are revolving around the nucleus and the electrons are situated in these orbits. But he did not explain about that electronic structure of the atom. Okay, then the third one could not explain the line spectra of hydrogen atom. At that time, there are certain studies parallel to this experiments taken place there. And they discovered there is some spectra that's shown by this hydrogen atom. But this Rutherford's atomic model could not able to explain the line spectra of hydrogen atom. So these three are the main drawbacks of Rutherford's atomic model. Niranjan, can you please read the points? The major drawbacks of Rutherford's atomic model.
Drawbacks of Rutherford atomic model. First, could not explain the stability of an atom.
Yes.
Second, Rutherford model couldn't explain the electronic structure of the atom. Third, couldn't explain the line spectra of hydrogen atom.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you explain the third one?
Which one? Which one?
Third one.
Third one. I told you along with this Rutherford's atomic model experiment, certain other parallel experiments conducted by many other scientists. Okay, and they find out that this hydrogen atom can able to show certain spectra. Okay, using this Rutherford's atomic model, it could not able to explain this line spectra of hydrogen atom. So that's one among the drawbacks of Rutherford's atomic model. This is clear now? Yes. Shall I move to next one?
Yes.
All of you finished, right? Yes. The next one. Just 1 minute. Okay, this developments leading to the Bohr model of an atom. Okay, so the next model is Bohr model of an atom. Before learning this Bohr model of atom, there are certain other developments taking place in the field of this atomic model. Okay, so two developments played a major role in the formulation of this Bohr's model of an atom. First one, the dual character of electromagnetic radiation. What do you mean by dual character? Dual. Two, right? Yes. So this dual character of electromagnetic radiation, which means that radiations possess both wave-like and particle-like properties. Clear? This dual character of electromagnetic radiation, that means the radiation possesses both wave-like properties and particle-like properties. And the second one, experimental results regarding atomic spectra. These two developments played a major role in the formulation of Bohr's model. So this Bohr's model, it should be compensate, or it should be overcome the limitations that caused by Rutherford's atomic model. So these two developments helped a lot in the formulation of this Bohr's model of an atom. First one, it's the dual character of electromagnetic radiation, which means that radiations possess both wave-like and particle-like properties. When we are just thinking about radiation, we just point out only this wave-like nature of radiations, right? But in the case of this radiation, they show one more type of properties, that is particle-like properties. Okay. Then the second one is experimental results regarding atomic spectra. So these two are the major developments that leading to the formulation of Bohr's model of an atom. Is this clear, children? Then we will learn it in detail about this dual character and the atomic spectra. After that, we will move to Bohr's model. Jewel, can you tell me which are the major developments that leading to the formulation of Bohr's model of an atom?
Dual character of electromagnetic radiation, which means that radiations possess both wave-like and particle-like properties.
Okay.
Experimental result regarding atomic spectra.
Okay. Atomic spectra. Shall I move to next one, children?
No, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Write it, right.
No, finished.
Finished, right? Okay. Then we are moving to the first one, that is the dual character of electromagnetic radiation. Among this dual character, we are discussing now about the wave-like properties or wave nature of electromagnetic radiation. Wave nature of electromagnetic radiation. So this James Maxwell was the first to give a comprehensive explanation about the interaction between the charged bodies and the behavior of electrical and magnetical fields on macroscopic level. Okay, so this James Maxwell, he conducted the experiment to give a proper explanation about the interaction between the charged bodies and the behavior of electrical and magnetical fields on macroscopic level. And he suggested that when electrically charged particle moves under acceleration, alternating electrical and magnetical fields are produced and transmitted. These fields are transmitted in the form of waves, and they are called electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic radiation. In the word itself, electromagnetic radiation. So it possesses both type of fields, electrical field and magnetical field. And these fields produced are transmitted in the form of waves. Such waves are known as electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic radiations. Okay, so this James Maxwell, he was the first to give a proper explanation about the interaction between charged bodies and this electrical and magnetical field behavior. Okay, and he suggested that when electrically charged particle moves under acceleration, alternating electrical and magnetical fields produced and transmitted. These fields are transmitted in the form of certain waves and they are known as electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic radiation. Clear? So here you have to mention about both electrical and magnetic fields, and they are transmitted in the form of waves. That's why they are known as electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic radiations.
Ma'am, should we write both the paragraphs?
Yes, yes. Those who have no network issues, please switch on your videos. Dia, can you please read the points about the wave nature of electromagnetic radiation?
James Maxwell was the first to give a comprehensive explanation about the interaction between the charged bodies and the behavior of electrical and magnetical fields on microscopic level. He suggested fields are produced and transmitted. These fields are transmitted in the form of waves called electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic
Radiations. Okay. Have you completed, children?
No.
Okay, write it fast.
No, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Emmeline, can you define this electromagnetic radiation or electromagnetic waves?
When electrically charged particles are moved under acceleration, alternate electric and magnetic field were produced and transmitted. These were transmitted in the form of waves, which were known as electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic radiation.
Okay. Shall I move to next one, children? Yes, right? Nimita? Finish, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Atulya, what about you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then these are certain properties of this electromagnetic radiations. Okay, certain properties. First point, electromagnetic radiation is a form of energy that transmitted through space in the form of a wave. Okay, electromagnetic radiation, it's also a form of energy that is transmitted through space in the form of a wave. It can be treated as discrete packets of energy or particles. What do you mean by discrete packets of energy? That means it is not continuous.
Continuous.
Yes, very good. It's discontinuous. That means They are like small packets of energy. Okay, they are not continuous, they are small packets of energy, and these small discrete packets of energy are called photons or quanta. Okay, these small packets of energy, it is discontinuous. That's the meaning. It can be treated as discrete packets, mean that is not continuous, it's in the form of discontinuous level. And they are called photons or quanta. These small packets of energy are called photons or quanta. And the second one, light is the form of radiation known from early days, and it was supposed to be made of particles, corpuscles, by Newton. This light, it is the form of radiation known from early days, and this was supposed to be made of particles called corpuscles, and it was suggested by Newton. Then the third point, Maxwell was again the first to reveal that light waves are associated with oscillating electric and magnetic character. Okay, so the charged bodies, they undergoes acceleration. They will shows both this electric character and magnetic character. Okay, electrical character and magnetic character. So these three are the main properties of this electromagnetic radiation or electromagnetic waves. Okay, first one, it's a form of energy that is transmitted through space in the form of a wave. It can be treated as discrete packets of energy or particles called photons or quanta. Then second one, light is the form of radiation from early days, and it was supposed to be made of particles known as corpuscles, and it was suggested by Newton. Maxwell was again the first to reveal that light waves are associated with oscillating electric and magnetic character. John, can you please read these points?
Is it to me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Electromagnetic radiation is a form of energy that is transmitted through space in the form of a wave. It can be treated as discrete packets of energy or particles called photons or quanta. Light is the form of radiation known from early days, and it was supposed to be made of particles by Newton. Maxwell was against the first to reveal that light waves are associated with oscillating electric and magnetic character.
Okay. Finish, children?
No.
Okay, write it fast. Finished, right?
Yes.
Okay, then this is just a model of this electromagnetic radiation. They are transmitted in the form of waves. And here it is magnetic field or magnet field oscillations and electric field oscillations are there. Okay, they are propagated in the form of waves. And here you can see that here wavelength. What do you mean by wavelength? Can you able to define these two particles? This one and this one. I think you have learned it in physics.
Crust and trough.
Very good. Crust and trough, right? Yes. Here the distance between adjacent crust, it is defined as wavelength. Okay, we can discuss it later. Now I just mentioned about this wavelength. It is the distance between adjacent crust or adjacent trough are known as wavelength. Okay. So while the propagation of electromagnetic waves, it will shows both electric character and magnetic character. Then along with that properties that you already written, you can add these points too. The oscillating electric and magnetic fields produced by oscillating charged particles are perpendicular to each other. When you look at this one, you can see that three lines are perpendicular, right? The propagation of wave, then the electric field, then the magnetic field. Both are perpendicular to each other, right? So the oscillating electric and magnetic fields produced by oscillating charged particles are perpendicular to each other and also perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave. That means they are mutually perpendicular. Clear? So that's the next point. Along with that, unlike sound waves or water waves, these electromagnetic waves do not require medium and can travel in vacuum. Okay. In the case of the sound waves, water waves, etc., they need a medium to transmit. But here in the case of this electromagnetic radiation, they do not require medium and can travel even in vacuum. Okay. No need to write the entire thing, just write down the point. That's enough. Rose, can you please read the points?
The oscillating electric and magnetic fields are produced by oscillating charged particles are perpendicular to each other and also perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the wave.
Okay.
Unlike sound waves or water waves, electromagnetic waves do not require medium and can travel in vacuum.
Okay. Finished, right? Yes, okay. Then this is just the model of this electromagnetic radiation or the electromagnetic spectrum. This electromagnetic spectrum, it consists of different electromagnetic radiations which are arranged in the increasing order of their wavelength and decreasing order of frequency. Okay, so this electromagnetic spectrum, it consists of different electromagnetic radiations. There are different types of electromagnetic radiations. They are arranged in the increasing order of their wavelength or decreasing order of their frequencies. That means wavelength that is inversely proportional to this frequency. Wavelength increases, frequency decreases. That's why here it is mentioned increasing order of their wavelength and decreasing order of their frequencies. If wavelength is increased, frequency is decreased. And these are the different electromagnetic radiations present in the spectrum. First one, it is gamma ray. So here, this one is represented in the form of increasing wavelength or decreasing frequency. Okay. So the first one, it is gamma ray. Gamma ray. Okay. Gamma ray. Then the next one, it is X-ray. X-ray. The second one is X-ray. Then the next one is UV ray. Next one is UV ray. And here in the small part, you can see that 7 colors there. It is visible. Okay, all of you just wait. Let me take your attendance. Okay. Okay, children, then you can leave. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.